caregivers, we are seeing a very big thank you for this concert. We appreciate all the efforts that you have been putting in since you became the president of the Boys Association. To move around, we have seen a lot of differences. And we will always continue to be behind you in any efforts that you're putting to make the school better. It is our pride that we are in. And everywhere we find ourselves, we always come back to that point that nobility runs in our blood. That is the stock we are made of. Excellent. As per the request, sir, we are in touch with the president, but I think maybe because of the time differences, we will not be able to give actual answer to that. But within the next 48 hours, we'll be able to get that result. Thank you very much. Also, sir, we would want to, I know you are a man of a lot of engagements, but we are your children. We want to request your kind presence in our football match today. It's going to be exciting, but more importantly,
so whether you are not beaten.
More importantly, sir, our lecture tomorrow, we're trying to see how we can communicate ideas within ourselves and as well as in society as well. And we know, with your rich experience in every endeavor, you'll be able to give one or two snippets that we can run with for the rest of it. And we want you, sir, to please kindly oblige us that presence tomorrow. We're starting at 10 a.m. and we would really love you to be there. And as well as the parents, we want to, and as well as the grand relatives.
Our president is welcome.
So, sir, we are saying very big thank you. Really appreciate you, sir, and we will continue to be there to make St. Joseph better. But as you can also see, we want to kindly request that you allow us to go and take care of other things that we need to. If you can, if you will allow us, just.
So, God bless you. You are allowed.
No,
surely I would love to watch your match, provided I have an assurance that you will not be beaten. I would eagerly wait for your responses concerning our request. Two requests that I've made: the school van and the hosting of the ambassador. I want to assure you that the future is bright for the OBA. What I want to enjoin you to do is this: whenever you have difficulty and you think that you can cite an ex-student, which we have done for some people. I remember there was a time one of our ex-students was in fierce contest with them. So I think had to do with the accountant general of Ondo State or something. And I was called. Fortunately, 3 people were to interview this same person. One of them was from St. Joseph. The other person happened to be my friend. And I called, and he said, "Mr. President, we are holding the interview. We are going to do our best." And to the glory of God, I think he was selected at the end of the day. Now, what I'm trying to say is this: when we talk about a family, people may forget some little but remarkable contributions. Yeah. If you can cite it, there is, like I said, there is power and strength in togetherness. Yes. If you don't know he could know. Yes. So if you go around and say, can I, is there any one of us that can be of help or link up and all that? And that's the way you use OBA. You get my point? Yes, if somebody now, peradventure, you want to go to Unilag or something, and there are some of our students are professors there. I know about one or two that are deans. Do you understand? So this is the kind of thing, area that we can help each other. Yes. Yes. Permit me, I am not a face person when I say face person. But if you see me and you see Nobilitas, I can tell you, you arrest my attention. So I thank you very much. Thank you, sir. And I pray that God will give you the grace to grow and progress. We've all been ushered into 2018. Amen. The glory, the joy, the grace, and the favor of the Lord for 2018 will have our due portions in Jesus' name. Amen.
Spread do.
Nice one.
Alex.
Hey, let's go, baby.
Can you do it? Hey, go get power wash. No, even guys. Close there now. God bless you. Put down. Àti bọ́ọ̀lù kò tẹ́ni wá náà. Àgùn bọ́ọ̀lù. Solo. Wọ́n lè gbé bọ́ọ̀lù alẹ̀. Bóyá tó wà. Long pass. Long pass. Bọ́ọ̀lù lọ ẹ̀yìn máa ní kọ́ wá gbé bọ́ọ̀lù wọ́n sọ́ọ̀.
After 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 100, another 20 minutes.
Go. Just. Oh yeah. Let's go down. BJ.
Pass ball, my west here.
What's in here? One.
Lórí báyìí wọ̀ níbẹ̀ jọ.
Kálí ọ̀ni mo gbé jáde kí kíni lè ṣe.
Kókí bá sọ.
Ilẹ̀ ó ti lọ.
Referee 20 minutes. Ṣé ìdá ti pé?
Ẹ ti pé ó ti kò jẹ́.
Ẹ ti pẹ́ náà 20 minutes wọ́n dẹ̀ máa sinmi 10 minutes.
Kẹ̀wò pàṣẹ.
Àwọn tó yẹ. Mais ouais. Madame de Hello. How are you doing?
I'm proud of you.
Well on, guys. I'm looking for one now.
Follow me.
Yeah, now.
Hey, say that pray. Please. Oh yeah, gbàdúrà.
Yes, one down my shift. Let's come together, please. Jesus, minus Satan. We need the holy water, please. And the chapel, we need holy water. Our people want to show. Holy water.
Oh, good one. That's our God. Our yeah, play. Play your ball. Hey, lo wà ńbẹ̀. Ló wà lọ́dọ̀ wa. Tọ́pẹ́.
Oh yeah, inside now. Kago people back tare ba ye gba we ball. Outside. Equipe 1, equipe 2.
Push it.
Push it.
Come on, boys. You're doing it. You're doing it. We can do it.
We can do it. Oh yeah. Put more effort, please. Come on, inside. Ooh.
Danny, yo Papa Chief.
On va faire pas chiffre.
Sorry, Baba Chief.
Hold on. Mighty trouble. We want to change. We arrest Baba.
Àwọn èèyàn lábẹ́ yìí na ẹ̀sùn
Gani.
Kókó àwọn olè kíákíá yìí ṣúkàn mi.
Àwọn ti gbá bọ́ọ̀kù Nàìjíríà tí a pọ̀ bẹ̀ náà.
Fọ́lò.
Ó yá.
Àkáǹtì. Pé bàbá ẹ̀ ló sọ fún ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí wá tẹjọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀ ló sọ fún ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí. Keeper. Mo record yìí. Jìbí tó mo record ilé tó kàn sí nínú.
Àmọ́ kí wọ́n ná ẹ wọlé sí wọn lára. Ẹ wọlé sí wọn lára. Shot.
Àmọ́ ọlọ́rẹ̀ o. Nígbàdíjọ́ ẹ̀.
Honorable move! Honorable move!
Hello. Hello. Ada ni dan sọ̀rọ̀. Ọ̀la Friday and Saturday. Màá pín ìdíbà ti alẹ́ sá. Màá pín sí alẹ́ tó ní kan bí kámi jáde tó bá ti dé àjẹ́ kẹ́ mọ̀. Kan bí kámi jáde tó bá dé lálẹ́ màá jẹ́ kẹ́ mọ̀. Apa pé.
Olha não. Penalty try, oh, penalty.
Order, please. Although we informed on this morning that we'll be having a novelty match against the OBHS 94 set, but let me just reiterate at this time that due to poor officiating, we lost the match. I'd like to introduce. I'd like to introduce to you, although they went to your high school, we passed to college. That's just the difference. I'd like to introduce to you OBHS 1994 set. They have come to play us, but funny enough, we never knew that the referee came from OBHS. Please meet our president. You have anything to add to it?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. At this junction, I would like to appreciate our brothers. We are more or less like a colleague, family. We've been doing it in the past, and we are always winning. And thank God today, we have done it again. First and foremost, we want to thank them, we want to appreciate them for the love they extend to us. To be here this evening, we actually work for it. We actually work hard for it. We trained yesterday, and today the evidence is everywhere. We can see the strength and the power. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I want to appreciate two things. St. Joseph's never loses any game. I noticed that you are hyper. Maybe I was asking myself, maybe you are on drugs or something. Anyway, I want to appreciate you, your spirit of friendship and all that. I also want to thank the organizers for entertaining us. Well, you can see now that there's a difference between age and what you can do. I got a young man there. Thank you very much. I hope you would extend our friendship whenever you have your own associations. Maybe we'll beat you then. Yes. Maybe. 2019. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we also have Mr. Fola Ogubadejo. He's the principal of St. Ambrosius. Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. God bless you, sir. God bless you, sir. We will start the introduction of our dignitaries as they come. And as you say, I love my guys. I'm just so excited being here. I hope everybody is also excited being here. Yes, sir. We have two speakers, two great men. We call him Ondo. Biggest advertising firm in Africa. We are so proud of you. God bless you. Thank you for making it a day to join us. God bless you, my brother. And also I want to recognize another wealth of knowledge for University of Ibadan. His name is Dr. Ondo City from the Department of Sociology. Thank you. sorry guys, I have to take you up again. We are taking the second stanza of our national anthem to to come and read the citation of Mr. Feyi Olubodu.
I would like to request that Mr. Feyi Olubodu be upstanding while I do, okay? Be upstanding here while I read your citation. Thank you very much. Okay. Feyi is the MD, CEO of Insight Publicis, Nigeria's foremost and arguably West Africa's largest marketing communication firm. With its recent affiliation in... Thank you very much. With its recent affiliation in 2016, with the Publius Group Global Network, the third largest marketing communication company in the world. He leads a highly ambitious creative team that continually solves different clients' business challenges and increasingly deliver value for their businesses. A creative community committed to taking Africa advertising global and recently voted as one of the 100 best places to work in Nigeria. In a survey conducted by Jobberman. Feyi Olubodu has worked with major brands across the key sectors of the Nigerian economy, such as telecoms, food and beverages, beer, spirits and wines, airlines, e-commerce, financial services, and public sector branding. Feyi's experience spans several years with TNS RMS and Insight in roles such as marketing research, data analysis, new product development, advertising, account planning, and business strategy. He's a global executive MBA, class of 2015 graduate of the Duke University Fuqua School of Business. He is SMP 40 alumni of Lagos Business School and a BSc Psychology graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University. Feyi Olubodu is an inspiring speaker, I can attest to that, presenter, and facilitator. He has facilitated several training sessions with AAAN and MBA students of Lagos Business School. He is considered as an emerging authority on the African consumer, having talks on international platforms such as the ESCP Europe Business School. He is currently leading the agency's transformation into a creative entity that will continually lead the charge for clients. And let me mention also that recently, Feyi also was awarded, or was one of the awardees for the Nigerian CEOs under 40.
This standing felt like punishment. Because in this hall in those days, it's either you came to eat or you were punished for something. So that was what was going through my mind. Good afternoon, sirs. It is very exciting to be here. I I don't know why they went to invent this photo. I feel like being among my guys. This is not working, you know. Somewhere, maybe the next one will give the lecture around Asun and you know. One of the things I miss in Lagos is they don't know how to make Asun. They will cut the goat and put it in frying pan. Then they will put it on buka and be moving and say, when there is that iron rod, now be turning it gradually, then you'll be hearing some OBN jamo. It's good to be back. Sorry, I have my notes. A gap for him in particular, because when Lincoln was going to escape to the US, he didn't tell anybody. He said he was going to Lagos and he will come back the following week. You know, in those days, the belief was if you are traveling abroad, if you tell anybody, they will call you back and you'll be able to go. So Lincoln didn't tell us. So I was angry because the following weekend I was going to Lagos. I said, you come and check me in Lagos. So I got and said, the guy has traveled. I said, you know, Femi Adelapo, if you know him, also pulled that same stunt. So there are a lot of people pull that stunt. Then, you know, when I talk about these things to people in Lagos, about how we believe in the enemy and all of that, they laugh at me. I'm like, you guys don't understand this. It's actually very true. But it's good to see everybody. Tosin is now a doctor, can address him properly again. It's not Dr. Tosin. Very, very interesting. The other day, my dad came to visit in Lagos, and I was talking to Zefi inside. When he starts like that, mo lọ sí bank, mo lọ gbowó, bí tí mo ti gbowó, má kàn wọlé. Bó ṣe wọlé wọn ní doctor kíní kan, ẹni jẹ́ medical doctor ni wọ́n ní PhD ló gbà. So mo ní kí n sọ fún ẹ, ìwọ náà mo gba PhD, wọ́n fi doctor jacket ló gbà. You know, it's really nice to be here. So you know, I wanted to study medicine, and you know, then I have a topic, by the way, so that let me even say that before you think I get off topic. I have topic, but I just have bullet points, no PowerPoint. I want to talk about something that I'd like to call halftime. We played a football match yesterday. OBHS beat us, but don't worry about it. We'll revenge later. Interestingly, I started GSS1 in OBHS, you know, and then I had to run to St. Joseph because, you know, there was HSC in those days. So there was a guy that we were friends and we were doing school fathers and all of that. I didn't have school fathers. This has been my problem my entire life. I never have school fathers. Even at work, I don't have school fathers. It's a big problem. But this guy has school father. So I brought my provision, we ate it together and it finished. Okay, let's move to your provision. And this guy said, no, this is not the system. So I went behind his back and took out of his provision. I was eating my own. So I went to report me to the school fathers. So the school fathers dealt with me, and the way they dealt with me, I can never forget. In fact, as I'm talking about it now, I'm struggling not to shake me for them. You know, because, you know, double bunk now, they just tied me to the double bunk like this, you know, like Jesus Christ. Then they took turns beating me. So they beat me so much that actually, you know, I just shit on myself. I fell sick immediately. My dad was mad. He followed me to the school. The school fathers were seated. He said, "If you show me the people who did this, I will deal with them." I said, "Sir, they are not here." Because I was more afraid of school fathers than my own father. He said, "Show me, I must see them." I said, "Daddy, they are not around." And they were sitting there, said, "Dad, you don't know, I'm a deal with them. They go for more. Come on, see this, After that, my dad just moved me. So when I came to Sevilla, I was in boarding school. So I was waiting for when I would get to SS3 and deal with juniors. And then when I finished SS1, my dad removed me from boarding school. I was very happy. You know, I was not happy. I said, "No, this is my chance in life to be resurrected from
So I want to talk about halftime. It's time to move from success to significance. You know, and you know, when I left here, I wanted to go and study medicine, and we spent a lot of time. Dr. Tosi and I were reminiscing about that a few minutes ago. We spent a lot of time trying to get into medical school. You know, because it was either a doctor, a lawyer, or I got into medical school after about 2 jams, 2 GCs, and whatever. I had the catchment cut off exactly 234 for Ondo City, so I just snuck in. I remember one guy in Ife said that he would not get to heaven on merit list, but he will enter through GO's list. So it was that kind of entry. And then after 4 years, you know, these wicked people just told me to leave medical school. Very embarrassing. One evening, I go to check results and I just see my name there. 962547. Olubodun Feishola Solomon. You know when they want to say bad things, they spell your name fully. So they put my full name and then they say withdraw. I say, you should at least put advice to withdraw so I can decide whether I want to withdraw or not. Because summary, you know. So within a week, I had to change department. And then I ended up in psychology because I felt, hey, psychology, we are still dealing with human beings, so let's do that. This was a very big problem. My dad was upset, as you can imagine. For like 3 years, we didn't talk to each other. My mom was crying every day because, unfortunately, she went to ask somebody that she thought when I said psychology that I meant philosophy. So she went to ask a friend of hers, hey, sorry, I was swing between Yoruba and English. Just for me. Once you leave it, you grow in medicine. You want to change philosophy. I hear it, but you want to change philosophy. My mom just started crying. You know, so this was going on for a long time. I will come home. Immediately I knock on that. She would just start crying. You keep no change. They want philosophy. You try it, so later I had to correct that, saying it's psychology, not philosophy. So again, she went to ask her friend that no, it's psychology. I want to man who will I won't continue crying again. You know, so everybody just had a bad impression about this matter. But something else was going on, you know, because when I was going to do medicine, I was very convinced that I had a straight plan for my life. And that plan was perfect. And nothing would affect it. So I was a very confident person. But after I failed, you know, my confidence level went to 0. That's when I learned that the first casualty of failure is confidence. You know? So I used to wake up early in the morning, 5 o'clock, and so up until then, I didn't question anything in my life, really, or anything about myself. So I began to ask questions. And in asking the question, I began to ask, okay, if I had a plan, because the plan was simple now, you finish medicine at OAU, go to Johns Hopkins University in the US, become a pediatric neurosurgeon, practice till I'm 65, then by 65 I will start writing books. Very simple plan, all I had to do was follow it, but it didn't work out that way. So I began to ask myself that if I was once going to be a medical doctor and I'm now something else, what else could I be? And so of course, sorry I'm telling story, but everything I'm saying goes together. And of course, you know, because at that time, my dad wasn't paying my school fees because he was upset. So, and I couldn't come home either because, you know, you come home, your mother is crying. So I used to spend holidays in school. So the question now is, what do you do to sort yourself out? So I found out at that point in my life that I could learn and I could teach anything by myself. So I learned how to couple computers. So I was coupling computers and selling them. So I'll come to Lagos, buy parts, couple them, and then sell them and pay my school fees. And because I'm an Ondo man, you know, Ondo people are very proud. I was also very proud to apologize to my dad. So my mom would call up, Baba, you know, so we didn't resolve the matter for a while. And then while I was doing that, one day, one guy that settled a couple computer and I was also typing. So at some point I began to type projects. Because I spent about 9 years in Ife. I always joke about it that
those guys should actually have given me a PhD straight away, because if you look at the number of years I've spent, it's combined to do PhD. So they just do PhD in anything. PhD in OAU is a course, you know. So anyway, so that guy walks into my room one day, medical doctor guy, and I used to type projects in his business center for him. And then he said that he went to analyze his project using SPSS, and that they charged him so much, but that he has the SPSS software and he doesn't know how to use it, that if he knew how to use it, he would make money. So I told him, I said, go and put poster out that you can analyze data using SPSS. In 1 week, I will be able to use SPSS. So I sat down and I started learning SPSS myself. I had help from one other friend. Within a week, we started analyzing data, and we had a sharing formula of 40-60. I took 40, he took 60. So this was how I learned data analysis. Let's fast forward. You know that the tradition in Ife is that they must give you extra year. You know. I remember when I was still in medical school, I told my mom, I said, oh, there's a friend in my class that he had 2-2. My mom responded and said, I have a home mother than we're not saying 2-2. Yeah, that means 2-2 or 2-1. I didn't bother explaining. So I just left it. Then sometimes I told her, well, they said, look at this way, they gave him extra years. For a year, 2 months, that one go farabale. So extra year, I'm very good money. So I kept quiet. When I got to psychology and they gave me extra year, and I told her, I started crying. I'm very good money, go to Moto, my Lord. I said, so, you know, they say, we're doing work with a belong. One course, 8 to 10 Mondays. You can imagine this was very annoying. What would I be doing? All my mates had left school, so there was no friend, there was nobody. There was a friend of mine whose older brother works with CDM in Akure, and then the guy, they opened the photography studio, like passports and whatever, and they needed people to work there. So I told them that I'm available, so I followed them to Akure. So we'll be shooting passports in Ojawa, and then Monday, Sunday I will go to Ife, do my lecture, go back to Akure. And then one day, I saw an advert in the papers for a market researcher at TNS RMS. So when I saw that advert, I said, I can do this thing now, but they put there 26 years old, must have 2-1, must have served 1 year. I said, what, this one, you're right. I was about 26 then. I didn't have 2-1, I had 2-2. I had extra year, I was served. So I didn't need anything. But it's a wonderful professor in Ife, wonderful human being, in mathematics. And he says, you write a cover letter. He said, if you write an impressive cover letter, I can still call you for interview. So that's what I did. And that's how I was called for interview in Lagos. Very fantastic interview. It's my best interview ever, because when I walked to that interview, the only thing on me that was mine was the trouser. It was shoe. I borrowed shoe, shirt, tie, everything, just arranged that. Immediately you see me, you will know that I was important, because nothing matched anything. There was just it was oversized. There was just happened. Because I walked in, I said, look, we have already failed medical school. What do you do? Lawyer election. It was when I was interviewed that they realized that I hadn't graduated. So he said, no, we can't employ you for market research. Someone else said, we have an opening for data analyst, and we noticed that you know how to use SPSS. Would you like that job? Of course, I would say yes now. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I got my first job, you know. And then I worked there, and from there went to serve. By the time I came back, I was transferred to the market research department. And while I was working there, I began to ask questions. Remember that by now, after my experience with medical school, I was questioning everything and taking a view to life that anything you are doing can change anytime. Strategy with it. What does that look like? I would like to. So I followed that question and ended up in the strategy department at Insight Communications. So it was about 4 or 5 years at TNS RMS. So while I was working in the strategy department, we would do strategies for clients and whatever. So I was sent to Lagos Business School. I came back and I went to ask my boss, who was then the CEO. And I asked him, I said, sir, we always do strategy for clients, but we don't have strategy for this company. What about our own strategy? I was just curious. The man said, it's a good question. Go and do it now. I said, So that's how I was given the assignment of developing the strategy for the company. So after we developed it, brought in consultants, did everything. they drew up an implementation plan. I thought my work was finished. So I took the plan to him. The man said, well, you are the one that did everything. We are implementing now. Ha! So I started implementing. While I was doing that, I realized that I didn't know anything about running an organization. I only knew strategy. I didn't know Israel has come. Wear your t-shirt, wear your t-shirt. I didn't know anything else. Operations, finance, I didn't know all those things. So I decided, let me go and get an MBA. So I went to get the MBA. And then by the time I came back, somewhere along the line, I was given the opportunity to become the head of the business and to drive the business forward. And so I say nowadays that I have followed the questions in my life, and if you see my career, it has actually mirrored the questions in my life. And there's a reason I tell that story, because my talk really is about questions as we go on. But I wanted to just do that small detour because I think God has been good to all of us. Yeah? From the time we left there about 23 years or so ago till now, God has been good to all of us. Few stories that I know, they've been good stories. Everybody is okay. We've mastered some level of success. Nobody here can say today that you won't know how to take care of your family or take care of yourself till you die. You may not become Dangote. Of which, when I look at Dangote, I have a joke about that. When we were young, my mom used to say, "How long did you go down to New York?" Because they never made money. When I look at that, this guy is selling salt, and it's like some of the things they told us were not true. He's selling salt, sugar, spaghetti, and cement, stuff like that. But if you left school, they are saying, but richest black man in the world selling cement, salt, sugar, and spaghetti. There's some things we need to think about differently. And for almost everybody, we are somewhere around the age of 40, if I'm correct. Some of you are 50, don't lie. Because if you look the same way that you looked in 1994, so it's that you were old then, and we are now realizing that for some things, not change at all. So you have been old since then. Man used to say, since then, I used to fear that guy. A lot of people that used to just be careful and snap good to see you, man. So now, what they tell us is that on average, every human being will live to be about 80 on average. If we are at the 40 mark, we're at half time in our lives. And I think it's very good that we're having this kind of meeting at halftime. When you play football, once you get to halftime, you want to re-strategize. You want to review the game that has gone before. You want to decide how you want to win. What you want to be remembered for. Significance. Success is easy. It's about taking care of yourself and answering the question of whether you can make it. When we were young, we didn't know whether we could make it. You were not sure whether you make it in life. I remember when I was withdrawn from medical school, one of those days, those of you that know my dad, you know how he talks. That's a very unique style of talking. He just walked into the kitchen one day and said, teacher training college. Mass and English, teacher. That was it. I know when you hear conversations like that, you just worry that will you ever make it? Will you ever, it was a big topic when we were in our 20s. Am I going to make it? Am I going to, you worry about that. And suddenly you are in the 40s now and you realize that this thing was not that hard. If you are hardworking, if you are open-minded, and you are a go-getter, you will figure out something to do with your life that will put bread on your table, you take care of your family, you build a house, you'll be fine. You will figure that. So nobody is waking up and still asking the question, am I going to make it. You get what I'm saying? Because you've seen many things that you can do if the current thing you are doing now is not even working. I tell people that if I'm no longer in the role that I'm in, I can go back and be a teacher. I can go back and go to market research where I work before and be a market researcher, but I will always have a job. I'm not worried about that anymore. You know, and that's success. You can take care of yourself. You can answer the question of whether you can make it. You can take care of your immediate family, community, and so on. Significance is different. Significance is about making impact on others, individually or as a group. What do we remember MK Abiola for? We remember him for his attempt to become president of Nigeria. We remember him for his heart for this country. Is that not so? We don't really remember him so much for his wealth. But if you were to calculate the present value of MK Abiola's wealth, he was at least as rich as Dangote, if not richer. But we don't remember him for that. Because success is replicable. Whatever you are successful at, before you die, I assure you, somebody else will be better at it than you while you are still alive. Today I'm the CEO of Insight. And it's nice, people talk about it, I smile and like, but in my mind I know, before I'm 60, Insight will have a better CEO than me. It's a fact. It's a fact. You know. So what else will I be doing when I'm 60? When I'm 70? What will my life be about? I think one of the things that significance is about is going after the big issues in society and dealing with them head on. Significance is about disruptive innovation. It's not about sustaining innovation. Let me explain the two, and I'll use an example that I saw this morning. What the researchers or professors tell us, you know, we have two professors here today, you know, is that disruptive innovation creates jobs. Sustaining innovation does not create jobs. It just makes what exists better. So let me give you an example. I drove into Ondo yesterday and I saw these gates, the gates of inner city. And my first thought was, it looks nice, but how many jobs has that thing created? Probably the answer is 0. Or maybe 5. The people that clean it once. You understand what I'm saying? And I was asking myself, has this improved education in Ondo town? Has it improved the quality of jobs? Are people getting salaries on time? Is their life better? No. Is it a good thing to do? Yes. But it is a sustaining innovation. It makes that place look better, nice driveway and all of that. But we need to do a little bit more than that. Why do we need to do that? Why? So I'm in the process of publishing my first book. So one of the things that changed in my story is, instead of 65, I'm publishing, you know, a book earlier. And the book is about the African consumer. And when I was researching that book and talking to people, a lot of people said, why do you want to write about Africa? Nobody's interested. So, but because I was passionate about that topic, people felt I should write something like, since I became a CEO, under 40 CEO, blah, 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 that I should write something along those lines, 10 steps to success. But I said, I'm not really interested in that kind of topic. 1, 2, so many people have written about it. It's not new. Just read any of the books. So, welcome, sir. So, I said, but I'm interested in African consumer. How do we understand ourselves? So I felt a need to justify that. So the first chapter in the book says why you need an Africa strategy. So I began to do research. Let me share with you some of the things that I found that worried me. One is that by the year 2050, which is just around the corner, by 2050, most of us in this here will be in our 60s, mid-60s and thereabouts. So it's not far. Africa would have 54% of the population of the planet on it. 54%. That 0.2 billion people will be in Africa alone. We will overtake Asia, we will overtake everybody else. That's 1. 2, out of the 5.2 billion people that will be in Africa, between 700 million to 1.2 billion will be in Nigeria alone. Nigeria will become, if not the most populous country in the world then, it will be at least number 2 or number 3. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is that by then, only of 65 and above. So you and I will be limited edition. It will be a young country. And World Economic Forum says that with that kind of profile, it will either be a blessing or a curse to the country. It will be a curse if there are no jobs, no businesses to employ those people. Then they will become terrorists. We will become the largest suppliers of terrorists to the world if something is not done about this country. You know, they put in yesterday's Punch headline, government says we will resolve fuel crisis in a few days. You saw it there. My boss sent me the front page of a newspaper in 1977, exactly the same headline. We will resolve fuel crisis in a few days. I only shake way for me. 40 years later, you are still resolving fuel crisis a few days later. Lagos. What will happen is that you will open your gate to drive out and the traffic will start from your gates. And then when you are coming home in the evening, once you get to the entrance of your estate, you will call your wife, because the time it takes beans to cook is how much it will take you, how long from your gate of your estate to the gate of your house. If you know in Lagos, we only have 2 roads. Forget what they tell you. Technically, we have 2 roads: Ikorodu Road and Lekki-Epe Expressway. That's all. We don't have roads. We don't have anything else. They will put flour there, but we are not going to drive on flour. Cars drive on roads, not on flour. It's not flour. Flour is not the issue. If you travel abroad, you go to US, you go to UK. How many flowers do they plant on roads? None. But they give roads. You see like 7 roads. One road has like 8 lanes. I remember the first time I went to New York, but the first time I was afraid to cross the road. Because one side had close to 8 lanes. I said, so, Timothy, for what to be meant, I can really look back. This would just be major to go for, you know. I could not believe, and this was right in the middle of the city. And these jokers have these 2 lanes that if one trailer breaks down, you are done for 2 hours. And you take pictures and look at what the governor is doing. I said, doing what? I hope there's no governor here. Please don't give me governor. SARS, please don't tell me governor. As I was saying earlier, that some of us need to go into politics. Some of us need to go into politics. It will take you about 20 years to go through godfathers, to get to a good position. But it is worth it, because that means maybe by the time you are 50 something or 60, you can be governor. And then all of us here will have significant position. If you are running for governor then and you send it to this class that you are running for governor, we will move Nigeria to big you. Because we need to fix some of these things and not keep looking. How can Atiku come back that he wants to run? It shows that we have problem. There's no next generation. There's no next generation. That's just it. There's no next. With all respect to President Buhari, he came back. Has he done anything different? No. The same corruption was fighting in 1980 something. He's still fighting corruption now. You know. Anyway, so we must do something about it. And I think there are 2 areas that we can. There are a lot of areas that our generation should act upon, but there are 2 areas that I think our group, Nobilitas, can think about, particularly in the context of Ondo City. Where does terrorism come from? You know, terrorism is practiced when somebody has no hope. If you've read papers of terrorism, the way they typically recruit these people, look at it, come back, the way they typically recruit these people is that they look at somebody that doesn't have hope, and they tell him, we will take care of your family for about 2 or 3 generations. All we need you to do is to carry bomb and go and blow some other people. And those guys, they don't do it because they are Muslims. Half of my family is Muslim. None of them support terrorism. And I've read the Quran, it doesn't say blow people. And those of you that are Muslims here, you know that those things are not supported anywhere. But there's no hope. So they give that kind of, why would somebody do that? The psychology of a terrorist is a human psychology. It links back to the issue of hope. Remember in those days when they were teaching us maths, you do LCM and all of that, lowest common denominator and all of that. The denominator for hope, if you say what does hope mean, the denominator for hope is the ability to get employed and to provide for the family. Where I start from. But the moment I got my first job, I knew that I would make it. I just knew that if anybody can employ me with this kind of profile, if anybody anywhere can say, okay, you know, I was okay. If Nigeria will have at least 700 million people by the time you and I are 60, 65, if those people don't have jobs, they will be hopeless. And hopeless people can do anything. You know, they cannot recruit you and me to join terrorism. They cannot, because we have things to do. They cannot. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think somehow we need to join the global game of trying to solve unemployment, particularly for our country, specifically for our state. And there are two things that contribute to unemployment on a fundamental level. There are several things. I'll give you one. You know, in India, poverty there is generational. I've been to India once. I was almost crying every day. I said, I can't come here again. We are not suffering in Nigeria. I can tell you that for free. If you doubt it, let's discuss on how you get visa to India. Then we come back, we are not suffering. We went to one place where the poverty was so thick that the woman, you know this petrol keg, 50 liters, she cut it in half. One half, she will wash clothes in there. Because water is a problem, the clothes that she used to wash, the water she used to wash clothes, her children are lining up, she will put them in the water, use it to bath them. Then use the second half of the water to rinse the clothes and use it to rinse her kids. Unfortunately, I don't have it on this machine, and I've shown you the pictures. I'll post it on our group so you can see. You know, incredible poverty. It's so bad that if you, because of the fear of tuberculosis and lack of education, if you cough for more than a week, your landlord will push you out of the house and say that you have tuberculosis. You will never get a house to rent again. So there's an NGO called Project ASHA, ASHA, that works with tuberculosis patients. They have to recruit them secretly and administer drugs to them secretly, so that they can still manage to live. We cannot afford for Nigeria to be like that, you know. In India's case, poverty is generational because of family problem. An economist wrote a book called One Sickness Away that explains that one of the reasons poverty is endemic in India is that if somebody makes it, you know, and all of that, all it takes is for one family member to fall sick, and the sickness will wipe out the savings of that person, and the person comes back down. Or, as they say in MFM Church, the spirit of crabology. You know crabs now, that sort of thing. So, but I think in our case there's two issues. One is education, lack of proper education, basic education. By basic I mean primary and secondary. And craft and technical skills. I interview people all the time, and when I do, I almost feel sad. Because you are interviewing people, they cannot speak correct English. We were talking this morning when we came in, how we were trained in this very same school. This was before computer and anything. Do you know that the way I was taught physics in Ondo town was so sound that about 10, 12 years later, when I was 7 in Nasarawa, I taught physics in secondary school, even though I didn't take a class in physics again. But what they taught me in physics was so solid, I was able to teach it. And when I started work as a data analyst, the main part of my job was actually as a computer programmer, because we're writing programs to clean the data and do all kinds of things. It was my background in mathematics and further maths that helped me to understand the logic to programming. Remember Baba further maths? I remember the day that Lekon Woyele did some nonsense in his class, and I think Baba and Lagos dad were friends. He now said to Lagos, he said, "You are very belligerent." And you know the way Baba does, he now took his chalk and wrote belligerent on the board. "You are very belligerent. I'm going to tell your father," you know, that sort of thing. But the man taught us well. Taught us well. And that training has stayed with some of us for life. Because once you get it right at the primary and secondary level, you are fine. If you miss it there, you cannot correct it at the university level. It's impossible. And what we have seen, welcome, sir. And we have to bring in to police to come and do that. We need to address things like that. Because it is not everybody that will go to university, and there's nothing wrong with it. Contrary to my mom's opinion, I hear about a degree. Really. It's the truth. It's only in most African countries that we build our system like that. If you go to the UK, most people in the workforce don't have